Evening folks, how are we? We're back again. Thanks a million for all the messages about last week's chats and the weeks before. And the week before we did 4 weeks of them, one every night. It was just madness really. But we're back and I'm going to do maybe one a week, possibly 2 a week. We'll see how we go. But we're going to start off with one a week anyway. And delighted to say that Ian Harte is joining me tonight. People will know him obviously from Leeds United fame, a legend with Leeds United and of course with Ireland as well, and I'm really looking forward to speaking to Harty, a great fella too, and looked after us great when we were young lads over in Leeds. So we're just waiting for him to connect up here now and we'll get started, but hope everybody is doing well. There's Harty there now, so he's just going to send a request and we'll get going. But Rachel, get rid of the beard. My sister's giving me stick already. We haven't even started off. But yeah, he's just going to connect up here, Harty, and we'll get moving. But hopefully you're all well. It looks like the lockdown is going to be extended for another while. But we'll try and keep it as positive as possible in the chats and a bit of crack. So 1 second now, once Harty joins in, we'll get moving. Very good. But yeah, hopefully you're all doing good. As I said, the lockdown looks like it's going to be extended. So I decided to extend out a few of these chats. They've gone quite well. We've had good feedback. So we've a good few lined up for the next couple of weeks as well. Beverly, I have Ian Harte lined up tonight. So there you go. Hopefully you're impressed with that. But we're just waiting for him to connect up here now and we'll get moving. Looks like he could be struggling with the technology. He wasn't sure how to connect up, to be fair, earlier on when I was chatting to him, so we'll give him another couple of minutes. But yeah, I'm hoping to do one a week, maybe two. We'll see how we go, and we might mix it up as well again next week with a couple of Gaelic lads or whoever, we'll see. But we'll see how we go. But as I say, once we get Harty connected up here, we'll get moving. I think he is. Here he goes now. Good man. No, he's just connecting up, yeah.
How are you, pal?
How are you, pal?
Very good, thank you. Yourself?
Good, yeah, good to see you.
I was struggling
with technology.
I was getting the daughter to do it for me.
Yeah, this whole Instagram and Twitter crack, Harty, we're not used to this, you know.
I'm definitely not used to it, no.
No, but how are you? It's good to see you anyway.
Yeah, all very well. Yeah, it's difficult at the moment, I think,
yeah,
for everybody. You know what I mean? The kids are all off school, but it's everyone's in the same boat. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be out of it. I don't know what it's like back in Ireland. Is it bad?
Yeah, it's just saying that, Harty. It's been tough going. Obviously, I had a little chat to you yesterday on the phone, but it looks like it might be extended as well next week, the lockdown period, for another 2 or 3 weeks. So I think that's what, I suppose, the idea behind these chats was, because of the lockdown, said I'd get on to a few of the lads, and they've gone quite well. They've gone really well, actually. The lads have been great with their time coming on, telling a few stories. So that's why I said I'd annoy yourself with one as well.
Yes.
But we've had Mabes on, Nicky was on last week. So we've had a good, and a mixture of all sorts as well. So there's been League of Ireland lads, current internationals, former internationals. So it's been a good spread.
Brilliant.
But and they've gone great. They have gone well, and I'm enjoying them. But just in terms of the whole lockdown thing for yourself, Harty, how has it been over there, and just how tough has it been?
Yeah, it's been tough, but I think most of the people have kept to the kind of guidelines of staying inside. We've been in the house for about 6 weeks. Okay, there's a little shop where we live, so you have to go to shop and get essentials. But then when you look at people in London or all over the country, kind of out, you know what I mean. The quicker that we get on top of it, then we'll be all back to normal. So it's the kids are all off school. The wife is doing all the homeschooling, and yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult, yeah.
Yeah, I struggle with the homeschooling myself. It's just get a ball out onto the road and just kick
That's
it.
That's what I do with my son. Yeah, we normally go at the back, and that's his PE. We do a bit of football on the back, but yeah, the daughters are playing netball, so they're practicing doing a bit of netball shooting or whatever. So it's difficult, but you know there is light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully we can get our lives back to normal soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to take you right back to Harty, because we've gone through what we've done is gone through the lads' careers and different things, players you've played with. But obviously, people will know you from your time at Leeds United, probably most memorably, and you became a Leeds United legend. And that's where I first met you as well. And you were very good to us as young lads. We won't tell them any stories about when I was a young fella, but that's when I came across you first. And there was a big Irish contingent over there at the time, and obviously Kells and Mabes and Macker and Nicky was there.
Damien Lynch. There was loads of lads. Boots Grant. Yeah, it was. There was many lads that came across at the same time. It was. That was amazing. You know what I mean? When I was growing up, my team was Liverpool, but having Uncle Gaz Kelly that was at Leeds at the time, it kind of helped me settle in, because for all of us it was difficult, wasn't it?
Well, that's the thing I was going to ask you, I suppose, just before you went over, Harty, how much of an influence was it? Because a lot of the lads that we've spoken to, we had Andy Reid on. Andy left when he was 14. Nicky was on. We had Mabes. All the lads talking about homesickness, because that's something that people don't see. And I know myself, I struggled the first year. But just to have not only an Irishman and a friend and a cousin and a relation, but your uncle over there at the time, how influential was that for you and helped you settle in at the start?
No, it was brilliant, because Kells at the time, he was playing the force team. The digs that I was in when I moved over, they were nice, but then I ended up moving in the same digs as Kells, because I was getting very homesick. I think it's a big step for any young lad at age 15, moving across to a different country, not knowing anybody. So it was brilliant having Kells there to kind of help me, you know, through the difficult times.
And when you signed, Howard Wilkinson was the manager, was he, Harty? Yeah.
Pardon? Howard Wilkinson was the manager, that's right, yeah. And you team manager with Paul Harte, who I don't think Nicky was too fond of.
Well, everybody that I speak to raves about Paul Harte, and even when we were when I was over there in Leeds, and even then the lads that were at Forest, everybody speaks so highly of him. But Nicky came on the other night, and Nicky's still sore about Paul Harte, I think, back in the day. But he was just he was making some good points, because he was saying that the likes of, say, Macker and Mabes and lads who were always they were very good, and everybody thought they were going to make the breakthrough. He felt that Paul Harte was very, very good with them, but with other lads that maybe might have needed an arm around the shoulder, or lads that might have been kind of not tipped for stardom, that he wasn't great with those lads.
Well, everyone's got their own opinions, but for me, I think Paul Harte was absolutely amazing. Even majority of the lads that didn't end up making it, Paul was there. He just wanted the best for them lads. I know, obviously, Nicky saw a different side of Paul. Don't get me wrong, we were all frightened, as you know. We were all terrified. Paul wanted to see you over in his office. It was terrifying, thinking, what have I done? You're walking across 100 yards, you're thinking, oh my God, and you just, everything okay? And you're panicking. But I love Paul. I still speak to Paul on a regular basis. He's a really good guy. He's helped me massively, you know, in the early stages in my career. And I know it's difficult for those lads that didn't make it, but let's be honest. Okay, Nicky would probably like to have gone on and played and had a successful career as a footballer, but I think there's many footballers that would love to have the career that he's having, travelling the world as well. So
but that's what I said to my sister. To be honest, you've done okay out of this, so too upset.
I know.
But he did, he's a football mad, so we had a great chat. But you also played up front, did you, Harty? And you were an attacker when you moved over?
I was a striker. I signed as a striker, and I signed from St Kevin's. So lots of people think I signed from Home Farm, but it wasn't. It was St Kevin's. And it was brilliant. I loved it. I scored loads of goals in Ireland, but going over to England, I started off striker, ended up moving further and further back. So it was, Paul Harte, he tried me in different positions. He played left wing, played midfield, and centre half, and then put me at left back. So
was it him who put you at left back initially? Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Yeah, he tried all the lads in different positions, and it was good. I enjoyed playing up front. I enjoyed scoring goals, but maybe that's why I got so many goals throughout my career, because I was used to when I got the opportunity sticking it in the back of the net.
Yeah, because even I was going through some of your career, like with the other clubs and stuff. I always knew you scored at Leeds, but you score goals in most places. Even your international record, I think it's at 1 goal in every 6 matches, which for a left full at international level is not bad. Like, in fairness.
It's not bad, yeah. There's many people I've spoke to over the years of playing and scoring goals. They always say, "Oh, I used to put money on you scoring the first goal," but I've never seen any of that money, to be honest. So
I'd say it was spent as soon as they got it.
Oh, it was definitely spent in the bar, yeah.
So I suppose then George Graham took over once Howard left. Was it George Graham that gave you your debut?
I think it was Howard, actually.
It was Howard.
Yeah, it was Howard that gave me the debut. It was against Reading in a cup game. Came on towards the later stages in the game, got slid in, honestly, and I never had pace, if you know what I mean, but it just felt like the nerves for a young lad getting on, making his debut. It was a great achievement for me, but it was difficult coming on. You're trying to get up to the pace of the game, but it was good. It was really enjoyable.
Well, it was a hell of an achievement, I suppose, because you look over the other side. I'm sure Kells was playing rifle, so for your families and all, it must have been unbelievable for all of them. Obviously, Gary came through first and had a brilliant career, but then for you to come along and to have both of you playing at the same time, it must have been incredible.
Well, it was amazing, especially playing with Leeds and in the Irish team. Having Kells at right back, me at left back. It was we had a great team then. The Irish players that was going through, as you say, Maka, then Robbie Keane. Robbie came over on trial at Leeds, and I don't know who it was that made that decision, but they said he was too small. He wasn't going to probably make it. And 4 years later, they bought him for £12 million. So,
I hope he got sacked, whoever he was.
I know, yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sure we get to Robbie because everybody raves about Robbie on here, and I'm sure, as you said, I was fortunate enough to see him a close hand training as well as movement. People think he just scored all the goals out of he was in the right place by fluke or by chance, but his movement is just incredible, Harty.
Oh, he was unbelievable. He was. Look at the career he's had.
Yeah.
He's still fit as a fiddle. You look at when he's on Instagram. He's in the gym every single day. Yeah. I speak to him a bit because he's not far from where I'm living at the moment. He's up at Middlesbrough. Yeah. He's doing a great job with Jonathan Woodgate. So Robbie's a great player, and especially in them little 5-a-side games or. When he played, he played games at Leeds. He went to Liverpool. He was at Inter Milan. But what a career he's had, and what a player, what a guy.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, we'll get to him later on. But just Harty, I suppose. Then once you made the debut and you broke through, how did you find it then in terms of, as you say, you're trying to come on and you're trying to impress, make your mark. But even from speaking to the lads, Mabes and Nicky as well, and obviously even before I came, there was a hell of a lot of talent at Leeds at the time in terms of the youth level and what was coming through. So did you always feel confident though once you made your debut things were going to progress from there?
No, not necessarily. I just think that for young lads that are coming through, it's when you get your opportunity, you have to grasp it with both hands, because if you don't have a good game, it might be a month, it might be a couple of months or a year down the line before you get that opportunity again. So I think at that time I ended up playing at left back because David Robertson was obviously Tony Dorigo, and then David Robertson came in. He was at Rangers, and he got injured. And kind of by chance, I kind of started the season. We played away at Derby County, and I kind of came in on my right foot, bald skinhead, and smacked the ball into the back of the goal against Derby. So it was, it's just perfect timing, to be honest.
Was that something as well, Harty, when you were a young fella playing? You were saying you were playing up front, but another thing that stood out for me, which is you were both-footed, and you could use your right foot just as good as your left. And obviously that goal when you're putting inside, bang, on your right foot as well, which obviously stood to you over the years.
Well, that's it. I had more power with my right foot, but obviously I had the accuracy with my left foot. But I scored many goals in training and in games with my right foot. I scored, I think, I'm not sure what year it was, but goal of the season again. That was against Derby. I kind of cut in from the flank, came across and hit it from about 25-30 yards out into the top corner. So that actually won goal of the season that year at Leeds United. Yeah,
brilliant. So then obviously you were coming, this is kind of around the time I'm there now, you're hitting the good times at Leeds, and there was a lot of talent there, Harty, at the time, and O'Leary was after taking over, and the players that you had, Harry Cawley was after coming through, there was yourself, Lee Boyer,
Jonathan Woodgate.
Woodgate, Viduka, Steady, Like the talent was, even the goalkeeper Nigel Martin, who I thought was brilliant. Then Robbo took over. You had
Yeah,
Lucas Radaby centre half. Like there was some talent.
yeah.
And it was great times, even for us. It was hard for young lads maybe to break through, but just to be around the club at that time, it was a brilliant time because things were going so well for you on the pitch. And I suppose the highlight of that stuff must have been the European runs, the UEFA Cup, Champions League.
Yeah, it was pretty special. You see, Lee Bowyer, I was very, very close with Bo.
Yeah.
At the time, he was in Boston Spa, and I was in Barrack and Elmet. And going to games, I couldn't drive, so Bo used to pick me up before every single game. So then you're looking at the lads like Harry Kuehl, you have Alan Smith. Majority of the lads were young lads. Okay, you had a few older lads in there to help and guide us and help us. You had Lucas Radaby, Olivier Dacour as well.
Yeah.
So it was it was amazing team spirit that we had with Eddie Gray, Dave O'Leary. We were very, very fortunate, and no matter who we played, whether it was Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, we knew that we were going to go out there and give them a game on the day, and that's why a lot of them feared us.
Did you ever feel, Harty, because I know you said there, and I know from being there with you, that you were very close to Bo. Did you ever feel as though he was underrated a bit, that he could have maybe went on and played? I know England had a lot of talent in midfield at the time, but he was unbelievable for Leeds. And the one thing, I remember going to Roundhay Park when we used to do the pre-season, but Bo would be just running and running and running. He'd never stop.
It was Bo and Jonathan Woodgate that would be miles ahead of everybody else. And the two of them, they just stuck at a certain pace, and no one was able to keep up with them. But Bo was a really, really good lad, and I'm delighted that he's doing well as a manager at the moment.
And that's another thing. Would you have? Because even from being around the place, he was quiet. He was obviously he had a close friends in the first team lads. I think there was one night I was chatting to him. I had a great chat with him one evening actually, but I never had him down maybe for management material, but he's doing really well at Charlton.
Yeah, it's amazing, especially on the budget that they have at Charlton. Yeah. It's I think it's well under £5,000 that the max they can pay for certain players or strikers. So I'm delighted for him that he's done so well, and please God, if football does get back, that he can keep Charlton in the Football League. In the Championship.
Yeah, I suppose, Harty, then, obviously, as I said, I mentioned the Champions League run, got to the semi-final, but the one that stands out for me is the free kick in the quarter-final against Deportivo, which that must be an unbelievable memory for yourself, because everybody knows over the years all the free kicks you scored, but would that go down as one of the number ones?
That was probably the best night for me in my playing career.
Really, yeah?
It packed Ellen Road, right with the cop behind, just outside the edge of the box, and just put the ball down. And kind of, I used to go to bed the night before game and visualise that, like, okay, this is what's going to happen. If I do get the opportunity tomorrow, I'm going to take the free kick. And I just went up and hit it as hard as I could. And luckily enough, it just kept on the underside of the crossbar. And then the other two goals that Smudger scored, Alan Smith and Rio Ferdinand, I assisted in both of them. So that was probably the best night at Ellen Road. It was bouncing, the whole city was, and it was special times around Leeds then.
On the free kicks, because I used to see it day in, day out again, practicing. But the technique then that you mastered yourself, was that something, Harty, that you kind of expanded on over the years, or something that straight away you thought this is your technique, or was it something that you improved on each year?
Yeah, you just kind of go out on the pitch and practice, and obviously you're trying to hit the target. The main thing is to try and hit the target, and if the keeper saves it, then okay. But if it goes across the crossbar, you get a new. And over time, more practice, you're able to then build up the speed and then the spin on it as well. So you're able to get it up and down over the wall. So over time, then you're trying to perfect it and trying to make it better.
Because that was the thing, the whip you used to get on it. It was unbelievable, really. Especially, I used to take free kicks as well, but we'd watch it, and it was the movement that you get on the ball almost.
Yeah, but to be honest, Steve McPhail, he could. He was unbelievable. That left foot he had, and he could take a wicked free kick as well. I think at that time we had Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank as well. I'm forgetting about. So goalkeepers were thinking, well, is Jimmy going to hit it? Is Harty going to hit it? Didn't know which one was going to hit it. And to be honest, majority of the time, if we hit the target, we were scoring. It was like a penalty, to be honest.
I was at the pre-season game in Huddersfield where you got the hat-trick of free kicks.
No, that was at Blackburn away.
Oh, Blackburn, sorry.
and it was
was at
against
that
Alan
match.
Cawley.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, they were all top corners, and I saw I saw Kells after the game, and obviously with him being in the Irish team, I can't swear on here, but he did swear at me. I must be honest. Yeah, he wasn't too happy.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. The only thing about the Leeds time at Harty, looking back on it, because as I said, there was so much talent, and to be up close and personal to see the lads that was there. Do you ever think that team or that side underachieved a bit, or was it just there was serious competition around with United and obviously Arsenal, great teams at the time? Do you think though maybe he could have won a competition or won a trophy?
Definitely, 100%. I think with the strength and depth within the squad, that year that we went on to the semi-finals of the UEFA Cup, the following year semi-finals of the Champions League. But 100%, I think with the players that we had, the togetherness that we had within the group, the management, everyone wanted to achieve something great at Leeds United. It was just sad the way that it all ended.
Yeah, and that brings me on to that. Do you look back with a lot of sadness on how it ended? I know obviously the financial troubles and the relegation. Obviously it probably would have went down on a different note, or even stayed there had things gone differently.
Yeah, I just think at that time, the year before we went down, we just survived. We played away at Arsenal.
You scored that day as well.
I scored that day. To be honest, most times I played at Highbury. David Seaman used to pull me after games and have a quiet word in my ear.
I was reading today. I do a lot of reading now. You might be impressed with this, Harty. But you scored 3 years on the trot at Highbury.
Yeah, against him.
I'd say there's no other Irish fella that's ever scored 3 years on. Even Arsenal players from Ireland.
Well, that's it, and no one's ever going to do it again because it's not there. It was brilliant. The Duke scored, and I think Harry scored the other one as well. So to beat them 3-2 when we were struggling, but then the following year, I think Peter Reid took over as the manager. A lot of French players came into the team. Majority of them were good. There was 1 or 2 bad eggs, and it just became a disease within the dressing room. And before you know it, then you're struggling.
Yeah,
you can't have divides in the dressing room. Yeah,
and I suppose that brings me on then, Harty, to the move to Levante. How did that all come about in terms of? It was obviously a huge move for you to go, the opportunity to go and play in La Liga. But was there other Premier League clubs in around the time, or what were the options at the time? Or were you gung-ho to go and move abroad at that stage?
I had a villa in Marbella, down near Port Banús, and at the time, my agent, he had a place out there as well. So he came up to see us and he says, "How would you like to live in Spain next year?" I went, "Oh yeah, that sounds good."
Yeah.
I says, "What club?" He said, "Levante." And honestly, I said to him, "Who are they?" But, because they just got promoted into the Premier League, the La Liga, and he says, "Do you want to come and have a look?" So we got a flight up to Valencia. We went and met the president, had a look around the stadium, the training ground, and because I think at that time Leeds needed to get rid of a lot of players, and Kevin Blackwell. There was so many managers, wasn't there? But Kevin Blackwell took over as manager, and he said to me, he says that I was going to be third choice, and I came back so fit for that pre-season. Obviously, I was flying in the running, doing really well. I knew my ability, but he said to me, he said, "If you stay here, it's going to kill your international career." So I had no other option. I had to go.
And because they're the kind of smaller team in Valencia, aren't they, Levante?
Yes, they are.
So when
although they're the oldest team in Valencia as well.
Okay, and then when you got promoted, you went and signed that first year back in La Liga. You scored the first goal in 41 years of them back in La Liga as well. I think.
I did. It was
goals everywhere, yeah.
I know it was a free kick. I must be honest, it was probably dodgy goalkeeping as well. That was about 35 yards out. Johan Mjällby had signed as well. He'd been at Celtic, but it was fun. It was pretty special for me, especially for Levante, the first time being in the top flight, and for me to score. So it'll go down in history. I'm the one that scored the first goal for them. The way it was Real Sociedad, it was, yeah.
And I suppose just the transformation then, Harty, to go from obviously Leeds and what you were used to there in Thorpe Arch and all that stuff, to go playing in La Liga and the lifestyle and all that kind of stuff. How much of a change was it? I'd say it was massive.
Yeah, it was completely different because I couldn't speak a word of Spanish.
Okay.
So
how hard was that?
Yeah, it was, well, it's difficult. But a lot of I must be honest, all the lads, the Spanish lads, they were good as gold, and they made me feel welcome. They tried to make me make mistakes, whether I'm ordering food or silly mistakes. They'll all have the last laugh. But you have to chuck yourself in the deep end, make mistakes. And I have to say, 3 years I was there, I loved it, every minute of it. It's not bad life, is it? Waking up and wearing shorts and Havianas and, the sun's out every single day.
Unreal. And I know you're fond of the shorts and t-shirt, right, And on that, Harty, as well, I suppose, to move over there, you were going really well that first season. I think you got up to 5th at one stage. Just the experiences of playing against Real Madrid, Barcelona, that must have been incredible.
Yeah, it was. I think it was probably the second or third game we played Atletico Madrid at home. We beat them. Yeah, we were flying. We were doing really well, but towards the end, it kind of caught up with us. I just thinking strength in depth within the squad. Yeah. It was a great experience. So the following year, we got relegated. I stayed, and we got promoted then on the final day. So it was it was amazing, ups and downs in a footballer's career. And
in terms, I suppose, of say lads who everybody thinks England, or if you drop out of the Premier League Championship. But how much would you recommend for a player to go and try things abroad as well, like the whole experience of it, the lifestyle?
Oh, it's amazing. Well, you look at that time, I think Woody had gone out there as well from Newcastle. You had David Beckham was there, Michael Owen was there. So there's not many that have made it. But now you're looking at current young players that are trying to make a name within the game. You're looking at Sancho, who's gone out to Germany. There's lots of young players now that are open to going abroad to different countries to try and make a pathway within the game, and then they get sold back to clubs like Manchester United, Chelsea for 50, 100 million pounds. So it's I think you should have an open mind, definitely.
And then I suppose, Harty, when that was coming towards the end at Levante, you had 3 years there, you got promoted when you finished up. Was there ever an opportunity to stay on, or did you want to come home? You had your 3 years done, you were ready to come home at that stage?
I had a phone call off Gordon Strachan, who was the Celtic manager, and he says, "Would you like to come and play for Celtic? You being an Irishman, it would be a dream come true to play for Celtic." And I says, "Yeah." I says, "Gordon, I'd love to come and play, but unfortunately, I had a year left on my deal, and the Spanish club made it very, very difficult, and it didn't happen." So, gutted. I never got to play for Celtic, but it is what it is, and that's the way it goes sometimes in football.
And I know how much you love Celtic as well, and a proud Irishman. That would have been some experience for you as well, Harty, to go and play for Celtic.
Yeah, I think. But you anyone that asks who do you support, you will always say Celtic. Coming from Republic of Ireland, majority of people will support Celtic, or a lot of people will support Manchester United, Liverpool, Leeds. But it would have been a dream come true to play for Celtic. It didn't happen, and that's the way it goes sometimes.
The next fella I want to ask you about is someone who will definitely come up when I ask you about Ireland. But when he went back to Sunderland, he signed you as he was your manager at the time, Mr. Roy Keane.
Yeah.
How did that come about then, Harty? And I suppose going from a teammate and a player and someone probably who you looked up to, then he becomes your manager. And what was he like as a manager?
Yeah, well, I was in Spain at that time, and I was trying to get back to England because, as I said, the Spanish team were being a bit difficult. And Roy says, if he wants to come in and trial, I says, yeah, no problem. So, and then within the first week, I got offered a deal, a year deal. So it was, it was brilliant. Great club like Sunderland, back in the Premier League, and. Yeah, I didn't play too many games. The majority of games that I did play, I ended up playing at right back. But Roy, I have to say, I've got a lot of respect for him. I really, really like him, especially when we were in the Irish team. Many a times, Robbie Keane and myself, we'd sit everyone to clear off after dinner, and we'd sit there and have a chat for 2 hours and just talking about everything. But what he's achieved within the game, you say, as a manager as well, he got Sunderland promoted from the Championship up into the Premier League, and he's a really good guy, and I respect him a lot.
He's my absolute hero, and everybody we come on here speaks about him, and Nicky was raving about him, and all the players, and Andy Reid, and everyone that played with him, and had any dealings with him. if you don't mind, now that he's brought up Hardy on the Irish stuff, I suppose with Saipan and all, and that was a really good Irish team, and I suppose he went there with like a lot of optimism. When that all broke out, the whole Saipan and Roy thing, like as someone maybe who you looked up to him and thought he was a great player, from a player's point of view, because I asked Kevin Kilban this, and Kev thought, well, look, we didn't want what happened. We didn't want to happen. But once it happened and he was gone, we kind of looked focused on the World Cup and what needed to be done. Yeah. But just, I suppose, when all that was breaking out, was part of you thinking, all right, come on, like, we need you badly.
We needed him as well. Yeah, I say we're a group of young lads going to a World Cup, having never been there before, and our captain, our leader, we needed him. But of course, in the few days leading up to this kind of all kicked off, yeah, I understand his point of view, but I also understand Mick McCarthy's point of view. Mick had been out there, I think, 2-3 weeks before. We'd flown out to Saipan to have a look at the facilities. The pitches were all cut. But by that time that we'd landed there, okay, the kit had left from Dublin and got over to Japan. But on the connecting flight, they hadn't put it on. So that's not Mick's fault, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things that could have been better, but it's out of Mick's control. Went over, the grass had grown long, but that's not Mick's fault. When he'd seen it, it was all cut. So I can understand we're going to a World Cup, we're trying to prepare right. And Roy was our captain. He was the speaker for all of us. And, of course, he was disappointed that the grass was long. Honestly, it was like the Jamaican bobsleigh team. Lads had green shorts, red shorts, blue shorts. It was like rag-ass rovers. But
was it that bad?
Well, it was, because it was... But there's nothing we could do because the kit didn't make it there. And but we had to make the most of it. And that's the special thing with the Irish team. There was always a great spirit within that team. There was no one that thought they were bigger or better than the team, and we just went out and walked the socks off. Of course, we would love to have had Roy there, but he went home. And
did you think Harty, from knowing him and knowing his form and what he was like, when you saw that the grass was long and that there was no kit, did you think, oh, Roy's going to go off on one here?
Probably, yeah. Well, to be honest, when we used to have them flights, we used to be moaning, like long haul flights or whatever. We used to moan at the back. All the players used to have to sit at the back of the plane, and all the people that were torn up for the games, you know, these trips, stick on their suits, and they'd be all sat in the nice seats at the front. We'd moan like mad, but no one would ever say it. And the only person that would say something was Roy. So sure enough, he did. He said, it's a joke. He said, we're having to sit here for sometimes 4 or 5 hours, get off and try and go out and train. It's not right where you're just sitting, torn off for a flight. So he was our spokesperson, and it ended up they weren't too happy, but all those people in the suits had to sit at the back, and we were sat in the luxury seats. So yeah, to be honest, he's a born leader. He hates losing at anything. He's a winner, and yeah, it was great to play alongside him in the Irish team, and yeah, one of the best.
And I suppose once then he left and things, you had to concentrate on what was ahead of you. And I suppose, as Kevin Kilban was saying, that you just get on with it. He had such a good run then, Harty, and it was such a brilliant competition and tournament for even the country back home here. Everyone's going mad. You were playing really well. Did you think, though, was there at any point, and I know it's probably hard, but looking back now, was there any point, imagine we had Roy in that, how far we could have gone, like?
Yeah, of course, but you look at the players that had to step in and take the opportunity. It's all about taking them opportunities. Of course, ask every player. They would love to have had Roy on the pitch. Of course, we could have gone. Should have probably beaten Spain if I had scored the penalty. But hey, you win some, you lose some. But yeah, of course,
there's Nicky texting in. Look, did he change his mind when he missed the penalty against Spain in the World Cup?
Well, if I had been Nicky in goal, I would have loved him. Don't
bring up his height. He spent half an hour on it.
But nah, of course, you know, it was a great opportunity for those other lads that were looking to trying to get into the team. You know, we did miss Roy, but it's the way it goes sometimes.
You mentioned earlier, Harty, that the Deportivo and the Champions League stuff that night was probably one of your best memories.
Yeah.
Where does the Irish, that World Cup run, rank in your memories as well? Is that right up there also, that World Cup?
Oh, it was amazing because we had all the families that were out there with us as well. The Japanese people are by far the the nicest, most friendly people that you could probably ever meet. We were in a place called Nagata, which is outside of Tokyo, and it was that you couldn't wait. But it was an Irish festival that was going on outside our hotel, so you can imagine we're all coming back, and when Keno stuck that one in the back of the net against Germany, we'd got back in the early hours of the morning, and we're all going, "Oh, Mick, come on!" And there was a party going on in the hotel. So he says, "Right, lads, go on. You can go and have a few drinks." Honestly, it was I'm sure it was probably around about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning by the time we got to bed. But it was that's the Irish spirit. All the fans, they were all enjoying it with us as well. It was it would never happen in England. So probably it would never happen nowadays with camera phones and social media. But it was pretty amazing then.
Which is such a shame, because that's, like, as you said here, them memories come back after getting the result against Germany, come back to the hotel. It's probably like Paddy's Day in the hotel, place going bananas.
It was absolutely amazing. You had Quinner in there, you had Shay Given, all the lads. It was it was an amazing achievement for all of us. Obviously delighted for Robbie sticking that one in, a great flick on from Quinner, and it was an amazing night.
And I suppose when you look at the team as well, the talent, Harty, you were playing at Leeds, you fellas at United, Liverpool, whatever team, like all players playing at the very highest level. Whereas sadly, you look at the squad now, it's not quite the same. Hopefully things might get better. Stephen Kenny's there now, but Duffer as well. Duffer was unbelievable in that tournament, and he's another one that on all the chats, Andy Reid was just blown away by Duffer the first time he came into the team and saw him playing.
Well, Duffer, majority of the time he'd go for a sprint and he'd put his hands on his knees. He looked like he was knackered. And as a fullback or defender, you're thinking, "Oh, I've got this lad in my pocket," and off he'd go again. But he was Duffer was amazing in the career he had as well. But left foot, right foot, he could deliver a ball into the box, and you have players like Jason McAteer as well. But the team, it was massively down to you look at an England team now, and there's lots of top international players, but do you ever really think that they play as a team? I don't personally. I think there's loads of talented individuals, where with us, we just went out and we were a tight unit together out there trying to prove something.
Which counts for so much. And as I said, you went on then, Hart. I think you got 12 goals in 64 games, which 1 in 6 for a left full is unbelievable. One of the lads texted in there saying the free kick against Israel, the whole stadium had you back to 20-1 to clean the bookies out that night as well.
Well, to be honest, I think that game against Israel, Brian Kerr at the time, when I was playing it in Spain. I don't think many people know this, but Brian had said, "I'm not going to put you in the team if you go out this." Well, I think he'd called me into a squad, and my wife was pregnant, so going to give birth. And I said, it was only a friendly game. I says, "Brian, in all honesty, I'd love to be there for the birth. I'm going to miss it. If it had been a competition game, then yeah, I would have been there." So he says, "So you're gonna pick your family over your country?" I says, "On this occasion, because it is a friendly game, yes, I am." I'd not been picked for a year and a half. He left me out of the squad. And when he brought me back in, was the fourth game at home to Israel, and then we had a away game against Faroe Islands. I scored in both games, so bonkers. But
and did you ever speak to Brian in between after that, Harty?
In between that, no. I just looked at the squads. I didn't get picked, and I was frustrated. But you got to respect his decision, which I thought was foolish, because I wanted to be there for the birth of my child, and that's the way it goes. But I'm glad that he brought me back in. I'm glad he brought me back in. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, and that goal. But I don't think anyone would hold that against you. Your family comes first, even over international football, in my view. Anyway,
Yeah.
Then the stuff, I suppose, Harty, were you disappointed the way the Irish career ended, because you were playing really well at Reading, and Trapattoni, I think, was the manager, but he wasn't even. I think you came out with the quote saying, "I don't even think he knows I'm Irish." Were you just disappointed the way it kind of ended after you having such a brilliant career, playing so well for them over the years, that you didn't kind of maybe get the send off or whatever?
Well, it wasn't. I love playing for my country. I love wearing the green short. At that time I was probably playing some of the best football of my career at Reading. I scoring goals, assists, flying within the team. And Longy had gone over to camp, and I'm sure Mr. Trapattoni had said to Longy, I didn't know Ian Harte was Irish. So, but it is
That's
what it
Reading,
is. Yeah, bonkers, absolutely
isn't it?
bonkers. It is. So
Because that year at Reading, you were named in Team of the Year, I think, 2 years on the trot, Player of the Month, scoring goals,
yeah.
and got them promoted. So for him to come out with that was just,
Well, there's nothing can be changed about it now. Back then, yeah, I was frustrated. I was annoyed, but there's nothing we can do about it now. So yeah, it was frustrating because I love playing for Ireland. I would love to have played many more games, many more caps, but it is what it is.
So at your time then at Reading, Harty, you obviously enjoyed that. That was a really good time. As I say, you were probably playing some of the best football that you played because you went through a period. Can I ask you, do you mind me asking you, Harty, after you left Levante and you went through, I think it was 2 or 3 clubs, but you mentioned it there even with Sunderland, that they said, oh, come on, if he wants to come on trial, we'll have a look at him. Did you think that was an insult to go on trial at some of them clubs?
No, because I knew at that time, many players that were out of contract or whatever, they have to go on trial because, well, I wasn't playing at Real Madrid or Barcelona where they can probably, managers can look
everybody knew you had the career you had at Leeds and you were an
international. Yeah, but that means nothing nowadays, career, what you've done. Yeah, it's not, it's the here and now. And yeah, I had to go over, I had to kind of prove that was fit. I was in really good shape. Delighted that Roy signed me, but yeah, when I was at Reading, Brian McDermott was the manager, and he signed me on deadline day from Carlisle. So I went from Sunderland I actually went to Blackpool for a couple of weeks with Simon Grayson, and then I went to Carlisle. Graham Kavanagh brought me up to Carlisle. I loved it up there. I scored, I think it was 18, 19 goals in the season. I played centre half. And then the deadline day, I got bought for £70,000 to Reading. They got rid of Gylfi Sigurdsson for a couple of million, and they brought me in for 70 grand. So it was, yeah, I love my time at Reading.
And I'd say they probably got the better of the bargain because you're probably better at free kicks than Gylfi Sigurdsson as well.
Well, no, Gylfi could score a wicked free kick, but
yeah, he was good, yeah.
Yeah, really, really good. But yeah, you had Noel Hunt, you had Shane Long that were there as well. So they made me settle in at Reading. It was a lovely, lovely part of the whole Berkshire. And yeah, 3 years I was there before I went to Bournemouth.
Yeah, because I was even reading the Carlisle manager was a Greg Abbott at the time. You said you loved it. He loved you. Loved playing there. Obviously, Graham was there, and they saw it was a great opportunity for you to get back playing the championship with Reading, but at the same time they were devastated to lose you because the relationship you had built up with him, you were playing really well, scoring goals, all that kind of stuff. But they looked at the 100 grand I think they got for you as like almost getting millions for you, you know.
Well, they said it was 100 grand. It was only 70 grand. And I'm best mates with Graham Kavanagh. He actually lives across the road from where I am. And Cav says to me, in a selfish point of view, he says, Hartley, if it had been my decision, I wouldn't have let you go. He said,
really,
because he says you were so important to the team, obviously as a leader within the dressing room, to make sure the younger lads would listen and learn. But I had a gentleman's agreement with Greg, who was the manager at the time, of 70 grand. If someone come in, you have to let me go for 70 grand. And fair enough, he stuck to his word.
Fair play to him. So then you met, after the Reading stuff, which as I say went really well for you, Harty, I only want to ask you about one person at Bournemouth because I listened to him in the interviews. I have a lot of time and respect for him. I think he handles himself really well. And that's the manager, Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
Just, I suppose, from dealing with him, and can you see him? I know a lot of people tip him to go on for great things in management, but just for you as a player working with him and underneath him, how good of a fella is he, or how impressed were you by him? Yeah,
Eddie's attention to detail on every training session, you know, taking it into a match on a Saturday or whether it's a midweek game. He's a great guy. You know, we'll do a training session. He'll video it. If he's not happy, during the lunchtime, he'll address it. We'll go back in the afternoon and make sure that the intensity is up to scratch. But definitely Eddie will be a top 6 Premier League manager. I know he's doing unbelievable things at Bournemouth, but I'm sure there'll be one of the big boys pretty soon that will be coming in to take him, which I know the Bournemouth fans will be devastated.
I know, it's good to hear that because every time I hear him speak, the way he handles himself, all that, I think he's a brilliant manager, and it'll only be a matter of time before he probably does move on. Harty, you've been brilliant with your time. Love the stories. I'm going to end with a few of the things I've asked the lads about, just about some of the players' questions and different things. So we're going to kick it off with the best player that you played with.
Best player I've played with is it's one of three. It's either Roy Keane,
Yeah.
I would say Mark Viduka, or Harry Cawley as well. He used to be on the left wing in front of me. Many a times I'd pass him the ball. I couldn't even catch up to try and even get on the outside. But H on his day, he was unbelievable. So it's difficult out of them three. They were top players on the day.
They're not bad, those three. And I was saying this to Maves, that when I was there the first year, we used to go to all the first team games. And obviously there was a lot of talk about Harry at the time. But I'd be watching the match and I just didn't get it. I was like, what's all the hype? What's all the talk? He just didn't do it for me. And then it was one of the days we trained. Harry was coming back from an injury and trained with us with the reserves with Roy Aitken one day. So we're out training anyway. Next thing, Harry comes out training and he was just incredible. And I was like, okay, I get it now. He was just gliding by people.
It was unbelievable. He was, yeah. He was a very talented player. I think at that time, Paul Harte, the U team manager, he had a chance to play for England or Australia, and I know that the England scouts were trying to get Harry to play for England, but good on him. He stuck out with his roots and played for Australia, and he's had a really, really good career.
Yeah, another one there that people might not know, but I found him Harty when we were there. Like, to be fair, all the first team lads were absolutely brilliant to us, but Viduka was one of the nicest fellas I've ever come across.
Gentle joint. Absolutely, yeah, gentle joint. But one of the funniest stories. We're running around the pitch, and Peter Reid was the manager at the time, and Viduka came out after getting his strappings, and he was literally about 30 seconds later onto the pitch, and he went, "I'm really sorry, boss. I was getting the strappings." He went, "Hey, big man, where are you going?" He went, "I'm just going to join the back of the lads." He went, "No, you're not. Get yourself in." He went, "Who are you talking to, you little monkey?" I swear. Which you can imagine, we're all going, "Oh, I can't believe he's just said that." But Viduka's, once before, I think it was Danny Mills got on the wrong side of him. And Viduka's is so nice until he crossed that line. And then he loses it. But that time when he said it to Reedy, and Reedy needed him, you know what I mean, because we needed him as well. But it was pretty funny at that time.
Yeah, I found him a great bloke and a great player. And it's funny you mentioned the other fella there, Danny Mills, because he's the only one I couldn't stand amongst the first team group. But all the lads were brilliant to us, Harty. So the best player that you played against?
Probably I would say Zidane or Figo.
Okay, as easy as that.
That was on FIFA. I'm joking.
And I know Zidane obviously played more central. Was Figo directly up against you? Yeah, left full, right winger.
He was, yes. That was for Ireland against Portugal and also against Real Madrid. So many times I've tried to. Well, I played, especially in that Ireland game against Portugal. I absolutely flattered them. I did, and it's an old picture, whatever. I'm trying to pick them back up. So but he was amazing.
What the thing with Figo, Harty, from playing directly up against him, obviously technically he was so good and his close control, but was he quick? People like looking in, you wouldn't think he was quick, but was he deceptively quick, or did you find out playing against him what was the major thing that you were trying to kind of eradicate from him?
Yeah, he was pretty quick, but his touch, his awareness of the game, knowing that where players are going to run. So if the ball was played out to him, normally wingers might take a touch. He'd play a little 1-2 around the corner. But he was talented. But Zidane, one of the best, wasn't he? Zidane. Yeah.
Zidane was amazing, yeah. Okay, brilliant, Harty. The best manager that you played under, and you've played under a few now, to be fair, so the best one that you've played under, the most influential?
Mick McCarthy.
Okay.
I love Mick McCarthy. Yeah. Okay. There was a time where I was playing more games for Republic of Ireland than I was at Leeds. I'm just devastated with what has gone on with the Irish team at the moment. I'd love Mick to have had the opportunity to finish off. But, it's disappointing. But, yeah, Mick, a lot of respect. If he's got something to say, he'll say it. And it's all put to bed and it's about moving on. But, a lot of respect for him.
Is that the biggest strength that he has, Harty, his man management and that he's so straight and upfront and honest?
Oh, he is, and you ask lads that are in the current Ireland squad, they'll all love him as well. It's disappointing. I'm sure he's bitterly disappointed with what has gone on, but respects the decision of the FAI, and we wish them well, and hopefully when football is back up and running, that they can qualify.
I think he's handled it really well too, because he's gone out with such dignity and class as well. But I suppose that's the measure of the man, as you say, because I've never heard anyone say a bad word about Mick McCarthy. And even, I know the Saipan thing kind of splits the country, and some for Roy and some for Mick and all that. But I still rarely actually have ever heard anyone say bad anything about Mick.
Yeah, Mick is he's a great guy. I'm sure, you know, for Robbie as well. You know, Robbie was part of his coaching staff, and I don't know what's going to happen with him. Probably need someone to come out and decide what is going to happen, if he's got a future involved with it, with the FAI or not. But yeah, Mick is, you know, I can only praise him for the way he's conducted himself, and you know, as an Ireland manager, it gave me the opportunities, many other young lads, and I'll never ever forget that.
Brilliant. Okay, Harty, I asked the lads to pick a five-a-side of
Yep.
all the players that you played with, so you can go goalkeeper and 4 outfielders or 5 outfielders. You're the boss. It's totally up to you.
Right. Well, I was thinking Nigel Martin or Shay Given, but
Okay.
I'll stick Irish. I'll go for Shay in goal.
Okay. Nigel was good, wasn't he, to be fair?
No, to be honest, Nigel was unbelievable.
Brilliant.
Really good near Paul Robinson chasing behind, trying to get in. But Nigel on his day, he was very good. Then at back, Jonathan Woodgate.
Okay.
So I'll put myself beside Woody at the back.
Okay, you're in the team. Yeah, brilliant.
Of course, I have to put myself in the team. I'd have either between Roy or Olivier Dacour, because Olivier Dacour was pretty special when he was playing at Leeds. But
Okay.
we'll stick with Roy in the midfield.
Okay.
I'd have Harry Kuehl on the left wing, well,
Okay.
left wing, right wing, and I'd have Little Keano up front.
Okay, perfect. That's on team. So
Oh.
H Boy, Woody, Robbie, and yourself.
And Shay Given.
Okay, unreal.
Yeah.
I think that's 6, but we'll allow you 6, Hardy.
Oh, is it 6? Is it?
We'll give you 6. You're playing
Put me on the
6
bench.
side.
You can put me on the bench then.
You're playing at the 6 side. Everybody else is playing the 5 side. Okay, that's brilliant, Jazz. Some team, to be fair, I think up to now, Andy Reid has probably named the best team, but I'd say that one would give it a game, yeah.
What's Reedy's team?
He had Carrick. He had a lot from Spurs from the time he was at Spurs. So he had Carrick, Berbatov. He had Robbie as well, and he had Duff. Who's the other one he had? I think yours would beat that.
I guaranteed ours would beat that. Roy would mash them in the midfield. Carrick would be like, no chance, I'm not playing against Roy, no way.
Yeah, everybody raves about Roy as well. Roy was just unreal.
Oh, he was a proper leader. Hated losing. Yes, what a career he's had. But love to see him on Sky as well, because
He's great on Sky,
he's brilliant. He's refreshing to hear what he has to say. Yeah.
Harty, I know you're doing a lot of stuff now with young lads and the talent coming through and stuff. Is there anybody we should be watching out for, or how much you enjoy that side of things as well, offering, I suppose, all the experiences you had back to the young lads?
Yeah, I'd say I love what I'm doing. I'm doing it now, just over 4 years. Yeah, majority of the lads that I look after, there's younger lads. I try and sign them when they're 16, 17. 1 or 2 older lads, not older lads, but you know, in the 20s. David Stockdale, who is at Birmingham. Owen O'Connell, who was up at Celtic, who's at Rochdale at the moment. Then I've got young lads like Jack Clark, that was at Leeds, that went to
he looks
Tottenham.
like a real talent, Harty.
Yeah, he's a top player. He's a lot about confidence. So if you give him, you know, a manager gives him the confidence, he will be unstoppable. And you've got young players that are coming through at Middlesbrough, who I speak to Woody and Robbie about. Solbrin, goalkeeper, who they're raving about, and then young lads that are coming through at Leeds United as well. So it's all good. I'm really enjoying it. It's the next chapter in life for me, now that football's finished, and you know, try and give them the bit of guidance, the ups and downs that they're going to experience, I will have experienced, and try and guide them on the right path.
Okay, well, Harty, look, I wish you well in all of that, and you've been so good with your time tonight. But not only here tonight, you were so good to me when I was over there as well, and always looked out for the young Irish lads, and for that, I'm grateful. And I wish you well, and I'll chat to you soon.
Thanks very much, Al. Cheers. Much
Alright.
appreciated. Mind
Cheers,
yourself.
Harky.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Bye.